Welcome to episode 60.
It's a milestone.
60.
It's a huge, huge milestone.
And that's not my age. We
I know.
keep talking about my age all the
I love
time.
it that the podcast is now older than both of us.
That's we said that a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
So episode 60, and I heard another rumor looking around this room.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
We are saying goodbye to the Innovation Center. So up until now, with the exception of the one we did in Kaipi and the
live broadcast, pretty much.
Yeah, our last two live
broadcasts,
live broadcasts have all been in here. So
yeah, so bye Freemium State.
Yeah,
it was great here, and we're gonna move on. We'll be announcing our new space very soon, but the next few are going to be at Venture Cafe, including a live broadcast and a future one with a very special guest that we'll be announcing very soon. We'll be both at Venture Cafe Cambridge. So, but this week, to cap off Freemium State and all, we're talking about something that we know a lot about.
Yeah.
I mean, 60 years of experience between the two of us in technology and marketing. Unlocking your website like a hotshot. People build websites and they just don't understand the potential how that could be a revenue generator for them. Is that correct?
Right. It's if you've ever seen that movie Limitless, it's got Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro in it, and Bradley Cooper's character. He takes this pill that unlocks like 90% of the remaining 90% of his brain. It's actually not a true statement that we only use like 10 to 20%. We use most of our brain, but there's a saying that people say that we only use a fraction of the potential of it. But with websites, I see that all the time. They really are only using 10 to 20%.
It's a powerful. It's your moneymaker. We talked about this in the past about. You own your website, but you rent social media. Because the website's where that's where the CTAs, the call to actions are.
Yeah.
It's basically the most underlies asset in your business. It's not even brick and mortar. If you're brick and mortar, it's not the product or services. It's where you make money. Pretty much most places today.
And it's an asset that a lot of businesses don't take seriously enough. We talk to a lot of people. They're like, yeah, we kind of want to fix our website, but is there really any value in it? And the first thing I say is, well, your website looks like it was built in 2010.
Yeah.
It's not phone ready. It's not, it's not responsive,
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to websites than all of that stuff.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to talk about today is a roadmap to turn your website into a revenue engine. That's, we're going to break it down. This is going to be a great episode for anyone that's building a business, and the website is their kind of the digital front door to their business. So what's the spin on your website is limitless?
Well, it goes back to the analogy of the movie where most websites are like the equivalent of using 10% of your brain. So you see a lot of static pages. There's no lead capture. There's no automation. There's no content strategy. There's no integrations. There's no revenue functionality. These are what we call brochure sites, which are
like landing pages?
Yeah, I mean, they're not even as functional as a landing page. These things, like a lot of the websites that we see, they're the equivalent of a digital brochure. It's like, which was popular when I first started building websites in 1996. It's like,
You actually did websites in 1996?
1996 is when I built my first website.
Wow, that's incredible. But then you want to use, your brain. You want to use 100% of your brain. It's kind of like 100% of the gas in your car.
True.
Right? You want to use it up. So you want to capture leads. I think that's number one, right? You're going to attract people to your website, capture their information, right? And then now that we're in the age, we just talked about AI last episode.
We talked a lot about automation.
Automating follow-ups. I just banged the thing. Sorry.
Well, thankfully, this will be the last time we're with this setup. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
And then integrating with social media. But this is the one thing we brought up in the social media website episode a few back is you want people to land on your website, not land on your social media page, right? But you want to integrate with social. That's your way to reach, have a multi-channel approach to your business. Right?
Yeah, and it's funny. We talk about this a lot where we have a saying that it's It's kind of like putting a billboard out on the highway that you're telling your people that are coming to your store to go check out. They're like, yeah, you go to their website, oh, check out our Facebook page, check out our Instagram page. And, you're driving people away from your website where you don't control that.
You want it to be the other way around. So
it should be the other way around.
Think of the hub and spoke mentality, right? The hub is your website. The spokes are all the channels coming in, whether it's email marketing, social media, direct mail for some people, if you're a plumber.
Yeah.
But then, the 100% of your brain accepting payments. You got to accept payments on your website today. And we're going to expand a little bit about e-commerce a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll take a deeper dive into e-commerce.
And then booking appointments. That's a big one now. I mean, how many people pick up the phone and make an appointment now? They go to your website.
Right.
Think about restaurants. It's something we'll talk about a little bit later. You're reserving a table at a restaurant. Do you feel like picking up the phone anymore?
And it's funny because, earlier today I had an appointment, like it just popped up on my calendar. It's like, oh, you get a Zoom meeting with so-and-so. And I'm like, because we have the ability to automatically schedule appointments and things like that on there. So it's a huge, huge help.
And this is the best part. Does anyone out there like to sleep? There you go.
I wish.
24/7, your website's working for you if you're using 100% of your brain, 100% of your website. So that's where you want to get to when you have your site built. You want to get to the point where it's 100%. 100% of the time, you could be out and about on the beach. You could be playing pickleball, or as Fiona likes to do, listen to music on Framingham Common. I tell you,
on Friday nights, we're over at the concerts on the green. No, but it's true. I remember I was at Disney World one time, and this was probably 15 years ago, and my website made it wasn't a lot, but it was like, I don't know, $30-$50 one day, just in ad revenue while I was walking through Disney World, which is kind of funny.
That's a coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah, well, in Disney World, it's probably an ice cream. And
an ice cream's $30, right? And the thing is, it's so hot in Florida, the ice cream melts in your hands, right? Yeah. So let's break down the 100%. I want to break it down. The first 20%.
Yeah.
These are upgrades any business can implement immediately. And this is the first win. Let's talk about wins today. We're positive today, Mr. Fiuto.
We are definitely positive today.
We're getting out of here.
We're excited. We got so much cool stuff going on. So the first win we have is lead capture. That's something every website should be doing. And it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Like a lot of websites that we see, there's an email address that you can click on the email, and then it pops up your email program, and you can send an email to it. The problem with that, and I know you like me to use challenge, but there's no challenge. This is a challenge. This is a true problem.
All right.
Is the issue with that is that it opens you up to spammers. So that email address, you'll probably need to change it every year, maybe even more frequently than that, because that's really all it does.
We keep getting those. We could clean your office emails.
I know. I get those all the time.
So you know what it is? My affiliate business, I sell Snap cleaning products, right?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So guess what I'll do? Hey, why don't you buy some Snap from me? And then I never get another message from them again.
Yeah. But I mean, a better alternative to just having your email address on there is at least a form that captures their information and ideally saves it to a database somewhere. The easiest win for someone to do this is with your email list provider. So a Constant Contact, a MailChimp, any of those. Like a lot of times people can use them as a CRM. HubSpot, there's so many different things out there.
Tons of tools.
You just put that on there, it captures their information. Even if you're not going to send out a newsletter, you'll at least have their info and you'll have it somewhere. At the very least, the form should send you an email. And depending on your platform, whether it's the SaaS ones, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, they have tools that'll do that. WordPress has a ton of different plugins that you can use. So
perfect stuff. So lead capture is your first thing.
Right.
It's essential. And how about, if you feel a little creative one of these days, you're writing a blog, you're writing some articles, newsletters, whatever it is, that's a great place. How does that help your website?
It keeps it fresh. It gives you more content. It helps with SEO. In fact, that's a new feature that we're going to be adding to Market Like a Hotshot.
Blogs.
We're going to add a blog on there because there's so many things that you and I are doing, and we want to share that information out there with the Hotshots, whether it's a quick tip. You and I can each post articles. We can have our team post articles. There's a lot of cool, fun stuff that we're able to do.
That'll increase, because you'll get more clicks on your website.
Yeah, I mean,
see the other stuff.
Absolutely. It's like the best thing you can do for SEO. It builds authority. If you're you don't have to call it blog. You can call it articles. So like if you're a consultant, you're an expert in your field, put all your articles in there. Even if people don't read them, when they come to your website and they see that you've written articles about these things, it definitely helps with your authority. And you can repurpose content on your website too. Take
repurpose is a key word in the world of social.
Right.
In a nutshell. Don't post once. So, and then of course we talk about social media integration. That's another big win for your website.
This is a huge one.
Yeah. I could expand on that huge one.
Well, there's two pieces of it, and there's two things that we recommend everybody does. One thing is that when you publish new content to your website, whether it's a new product, a new page, a new article, it's great if you can integrate with your social media. Like we did a post on the latest version of WordPress. As soon as I hit publish on it, it went out to LinkedIn, went out to Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Nextdoor, like all these different.
People still use Tumblr.
People still, I don't know. I mean, I see a lot of it on Reddit, but that's one aspect of it. The other aspect, and you see it on marketlikeahotshot.com right now, is where we have our YouTube feed on there.
Yep,
and that's where you have to watch the videos. But
see all our cool episodes.
Yeah,
right?
On JVF.com we have our Instagram feed as well. So that's a new feature we should put on our thing.
I love it.
Yeah,
and then of course cross-channel engagement, and you have consistency without extra work, and that's what social media integration is all about. Again, you want to automate as much as possible.
Yeah.
We talked about agentic AI yesterday, about automation and workflows. This is something that you want to integrate into your website. So if your website's not collecting leads, it's not a website, it's a billboard. You talked about that billboard a little bit earlier on the Mass Pike. Or I talked about the ones down south, right? Like every 5 minutes you see a billboard about Buc-ee's, right? But here it is. All right, so you have a product, you have a service. You got to collect money because at the end of the day, you want to make money. Your business, you want to make money. How do you do that? What's the big win for that?
Well, we actually have, it's called, e-commerce is a huge, huge win for your website. And we actually have 3 levels of it that we want to share with our Hotshots out there, okay? The first one is just simple payments, and it's super easy for people to do this. You can use PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, credit card checkouts. It's super, super easy to get this stuff set up on your website if you know what you're doing.
What's the? I was going to ask you which one you think is best, but what are some of the things you got to look out for?
You need to actually look at the fees on there because typically the way they most credit card processing tools they do roughly 3% plus 30 cents per transaction. That's been the standard. Give or take 1/10%. So you might have one that's 2.9, another that's 3.1. Some of them waive the transaction fee. So it's something to consider because, in a $1,000 transaction, you're giving away 3% of that, which is $30 plus 30 cents. So $30.30. On a $1 transaction, you're giving away 33 cents. So you're only seeing
credit card companies are evil. And they probably aren't anyone doing any work. It's all AI bots in the background, right?
Right. But I mean, like this type of stuff, like the first level that we're telling people about, we expect it's great to use it for deposits, for session fees, for booking a ticket or booking an appointment with you. You use this for event tickets a lot for the events that you host.
Exactly. Yeah, I do pay a lot of fees to Eventbrite for that stuff. But then how about you're a service-based business? This is like you're a speaker or consultant. You're building your website for your consultant business.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you take it to the next level where you're actually transacting business on there. And we do that. We let people pay their, beyond their deposit. They can pay for an audit. They can pay for different products and services on there. You can do paid strategy calls, you can do audits, you can do, again, booking, sessions. If you're a service-based business, like you can pretty much transact all your business, all your payments, you can automate them online. And there are tools like, we mentioned a few, like the Stripes, the PayPal, the Venmo. There's Amazon Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. There's so many different payment options out there. And, you get the right provider to help you get this set up. It's like one step. People can go in however they want to pay you. It's all done. Like you can even set it up to do ACH. So you're not even paying any fees. You can do Zelle. You can do so many different things. But as when you're selling a service, if it's thousands and thousands of dollars, that's where we have friends that that help with credit card processing.
We do.
We give a shout out.
Business too with iTransact and Payrock. Check out aimcbizsolutions.com.
Yeah, and I mean, that's somewhere where saving 2 to 3/10%
That's a big deal. Especially if you have millions of revenue or even that. Could be a coffee at Starbucks. And then you have e-com, like online stores.
A full-blown store.
Yeah, like anything that's built on like the Shopify platform. Or, you talk about allamycot.com, right?
There you go.
That's an online store, right? You go to any online store, and if you have any product or service, sell records like the Toon Butler. Shout out to Toon Butler.
Shout out to Mike.
Michael Merlin, right?
Love Mike.
He has an online store to buy records.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many different aspects that you can do when you take it to this level. Like you can do full-on inventory management so that when you sell stuff, your website can actually track your inventory for you.
Yeah.
So let's say in the case of Mike, maybe let's say he has 30 copies of
Led Zeppelin.
That is so freaky because I was thinking Led Zeppelin too.
Zeppelin,
and I was trying to remember which, but I don't know why. And I don't not like Led Zeppelin, but they're not my favorite band. But anyway.
I know you're into the Jacksons. Right?
I like Def Leppard.
Def Leppard. All right.
But getting kind of back to that is that, it can manage your inventory for you. We had someone, a candle company, reached out to us once that they, they have like a 6-pack of candles, and they have 17.
6-pack of candles or 6-pack of beer?
Well, they have 7 different variants on there. So whether it's candles or even T-shirts, being able to have a variation, which could be a color, it could be a size, it could be a scent, it could be a flavor, depending on what you're selling. There's so many different things. There's like shipping logistics, automated fulfillment. There's so many, with marketlikeahotshot.com, we have automated shirt fulfillment. So you buy
the merch.
You buy our merch. Yeah, it gets we don't have to do anything.
We don't do anything. You just buy our merch, right?
Yeah.
So e-commerce is not just for products. I know we talked a little bit about consultant services. It's anything you charge money for. If you're making, remember your website's a revenue generator, so you almost have to have an e-commerce built in to be able to charge money automatically. You're not working under the table here with cash under the benefit. So man, wow, that's a lot just to kick it off. Now this is why we were talking about 100, using 100% of your website's capability, not 10% of it. Lead magnets turn strangers into subscribers. I get subscribers all the time. Right? On my blog, some dude from India. I don't know this person, but it's cool that they like what we write.
Yeah.
So what's some good examples of lead magnets?
Most popular one is usually a sample. It could be an ebook, or it could be like a first chapter of a book, or maybe the first few seconds of a song.
Yep. Speaking of, I know we're diverting here, but Hotshot Resistance on Spotify.
Check it out because
check it out.
Yeah, coming August of 2026 will be Volume 2.
Volume 2, new album coming out.
We're really excited about that. But other lead magnets or things like you can put a checklist up there. Like we have a security checklist for people's websites that will do, a report or a white paper. Another great one is click here to get a coupon.
Coupon, 10% off, man.
Give us your info and we'll give you a coupon. Templates, a lot. If you're a accounting firm or a bookkeeper, maybe a template that, helps you plan out your cash flow for like a month or whatever. Something that's easy, doesn't give your business away, but kind of you want it to be a teaser. You want it to be like a movie trailer. You get people excited. It has some functionality, so they're getting a benefit out of it. But then, when they're ready for the full thing, that's where they're going to come see you.
Perfect stuff. And then why do you think all this stuff works? I mean, you might have already answered this question.
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of this stuff, but
instant value.
Absolutely, it builds trust too. It shows that you're an expertise. That you have expertise in that, that field and whatever you're. It shows people physical proof that you have, experience in that. It also. You can use it to segment your audience you talked a little bit about landing pages. Those things, that's a whole other topic. We should do one just on
landing page like a hotshot.
I think we should do landing page like a hotshot.
I see a future episode. This is what happens here at marketlikeahotshot.com. We love expanding on previous episodes and to do a little deep dive here for our listeners in Hotshot Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, your website's like networking, right? It's a lead magnet. It's like your first handshake and how relationships start, because
so true.
You're getting somebody's information, you have that first initial call, and you build a relationship, like and trust, and you do business together. Sounds so easy, right?
Sounds easy.
We'll see.
In real life, we'll see. Yeah.
So hey, let's go into some specific industries.
Right.
Some of the industries out there. Of course, I love food.
Me too.
Right? Yeah, so restaurants, and we touched on that about getting reservations at your favorite restaurant.
Yeah, the reservation systems, delivery integrations. So like a lot of people are doing like Uber Eats, but like you can do online ordering, and it can integrate with your delivery system. Online menu management. It's great. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. I mean, some restaurants, I haven't seen it with restaurants up here.
Yeah.
But some of them have it, so you can kind of see like what the wait is, the wait time.
They do that a lot. They do that.
Yeah.
That saved us down in Newport. Finding out what restaurants had the worst wait.
Yeah.
2 hours, 3 hours. No, I'm kidding. It was that bad down
That's
there.
like Disney World restaurants.
Oh, it's crazy. But online ordering. If you're a restaurant today, you got to have online ordering because, and of course, you want to get that credit information so you don't like order and then chew and screw. Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, that's an old term.
I
remember that.
But it's. You're going to save because then you're going to have so much staff. And I hate to say this. Of course, you want people to have jobs and all that, but it's going to save you a lot of time to have an online order system that's all automated like that. And then how about we love this up here in New England, real estate.
Yeah.
So expensive, but, if you're an agent, you're not going to be hiring an army, right? You need some automation. How can you do that? How can your website be your friend?
One of the best things you can do, and a lot of times people want to share their listings on their website, is an MLS integration. So we actually have a client that we've done that for a while, and she'll just go in and put her listings into, her listings that are flagged in MLS for her.
Yep.
It automatically shows up on her website. She doesn't have to do anything, anything different. So having those integrations, having a property search on there, because one of the, it's great that you're a real estate agent, but like, sometimes people go to your website and, they just see, oh, so-and-so's a real estate agent, and then they go to like realtor.com or, one of those other
You don't want people to do that, right?
Yeah, you want them to stay on your website.
They want them to land and do, process something on your website. Take action, do the call to action on your website. Then you have service providers out there, like maybe like MSP, managed service provider in the world of technology, marketing agency. What do?
Online booking, again, intake forms, payment collection, automated reminders, that like something.
Reminders, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, your Windows is out of date, your Mac's out of date, like, being able to, have that automatically show up. You can do a lot. Like a lot of the technology, the way it exists today, it's like your websites can, they know what browser version you're on there, so it can actually, based on just your browser, can tell you if your browser's out of date. It knows what operating system you're using, and there's so many different things you can do.
We've come a long way from those days of punch cards, huh, James?
Come a long way.
And then, of course, if you're a creator, either a musician or an artist, and then, of course, a coach, Coach Trev.
Shout out to Coach Trev.
You gotta hear this one. You have some courses, memberships, digital downloads of your latest book. This is where you could, your website is your central repository for that. Yeah, so your website should be the center of your business, not an accessory. We gotta stop it out there just to say, oh, I gotta get my website done. If your website's not up and running, your business is not running yet.
It's true.
Sorry to say that. Your business is not real until you have a website. No matter what you do.
There's so many people that come to us. They're like, I need it's like they just delay it as long as humanly possible. And then they'll finally come to us and they're like, look, I need a website because if I don't have it, my business doesn't look legit. And therefore I have a problem, they won't get funded. They won't get, there's certain people that won't use them. They're trying to do a partnership. And if you don't have a website, and it's got to look good too. It's not something, we talked about AI agents last week, and we've talked about AI a few times, but and I think one of the things we covered was the AI built websites. It's like, you can look at a website and see that it's been built in Claude, and it just doesn't really
doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing, but,
So that's good. So now we're hitting the other 50% of that 100%. 100% of 100%. So this is where you become the master. The master. Automation's one thing. What's some of the things you can do in automating workflows on your website?
Automation is so helpful. I mean, one of the things we did is we have an intake form. And based on that intake form, it's a short form. There's maybe 3 screens of 3 questions each. And we send it to people, or even people that read our ebooks and things like that. They have links to it. And we have multiple ones of these. So we do segment our market based on our leads based on it. But it'll go in based on the way they answer questions. It'll score them and let us know. And based on their score, it'll send them one of 3 different sequences that we've created.
Wow.
So what happens is we don't spam them. They're informed that they'll be receiving some emails from us. And they're not marketing emails either. They're emails that really are meant to legitimately help them. So,
good stuff.
Every 2 days they'll get one for a couple, for a week. And then it's pretty simple like that. So that's something that's huge.
CRM routing, if you have a CRM.
Getting, capturing them and putting them in the CRM. And again, if you can implement scoring as part of that, you're going to be in good shape.
I'm slouching today here. How about personalization? That's another advanced feature.
That's huge. I mean, have you ever gone to a website where it's it's said to you, it's shown the weather for where you're located, or it's telling you something about your location, or
hot.
Yeah,
it's hot up there today.
I mean, it's so good to be able to have dynamic content on the website that based on the visitor's location has something relevant for you. So you'll often see that with ads on Google, but on websites you'll see it too. That you log into a hotel chain, it's detecting your location. It's going to suggest properties near wherever you're located.
Yeah, exactly. And then another great personalization is personalized call to actions.
Right.
Yeah, because there you go. That's what marketing is all about, right? You need the qualified lead. Your website could actually match the person that's going to your website to a call to action that they can relate to.
Right.
And want to do, right? And we talked about integrations a lot. Social media, CRM, payment gateways we've talked about, scheduling tools, and an inventory system. So this is all these advanced features you can have as part of your website, your center of action. And then we talk about analytics.
That is really cool. In fact, I had a conversation about this with a client this morning, and one of the things that a lot of people don't realize you can get on your website is a heat map.
It feels like heat maps today out there.
I know, we're hitting the high 90s
high
today
90s here in Massachusetts.
But for the hotshots out there that are not familiar with the term heat map, what that is that it's a really cool thing that you can do where you can actually screen record visitors' behavior on your website. Now, all these tools that do it, they block out anything any information they're typing into a form. So it's like it's taking everyone's privacy into consideration. But like, I've seen people where they come to the website and it shows their mouse scrolling over and like clicking this button, and then it goes to the next page, and then it'll show like them scrolling down, what they're looking at, what they're pausing on, if they're hovering over something. And it gives you a lot of feedback. So you can actually view it. It's the coolest technology. We've used it for years, and we've set it up on a number of client
Send us
sites.
a note if you need more about heat maps. I mean, we'll help you out there if in times of building your website. And then we have what we call beer funnels.
Yeah, I mean, we did a whole episode on funnels.
Yeah, funnel like a hotshot. Check out that episode. I don't know what number was that.
I think it was 40-something.
40-something. Just search on our website.
I think it was like 49. I think
you actually did a presentation on funnels downstairs.
A couple months ago I did it. Yeah.
And that's it builds your sales funnel. So you can actually build a sales funnel within your website. And I don't want to be a promoter here, but Builderall, that's if you go to onlinemarketing.info on my website, you can actually build a funnel and integrate it into your website pretty seamlessly.
And there's a lot of tools out there for WordPress, for Wix, for Squarespace, for Shopify, so whatever.
Yet.
Yeah, Duda, I'm not a big fan of Duda.
We'll move on. How about conversion tracking? You want to convert people.
Yeah.
Right? You got a lead on your website. How do you convert it? That's a big one.
Yeah, you want to follow people's path through a website, figure out like where they're going. I mean, Google Analytics is a really cool tool called Content Paths, where you can actually see, where they enter the website, and then like where people are going from that, and where they exit too. So
wow, jeez. And then we already talked about this here. Your website's your system. It's your system, right? So let's talk about some mistakes. Let's be
common
negative.
mistakes.
Treating your website like a brochure. Oh my Lord! Please don't do that.
I mean, unless you really only need it as like, to be listed in a directory, you need your website has to be interactive. So you don't want it to be a boring brochure website.
No, not at all. With backlinks to information and a call to actions, right?
Right.
And then, of course, lead capture. If you have no lead capture, why bother having a website?
Right.
You want to know who's hitting your website if they want information. And then, of course, you don't automate anything, especially in the year 2026. Got to be automating stuff in the back end. How about some more? Any other good ones?
Having no content strategy, that's a huge one. Yeah. And there's a lot of times people are like, so we have a website. And I'm like, well, you look at it and forget the design piece, because sometimes it's like every page looks like it was designed by someone completely different. Yep. Different fonts, different colors, but like, there's no consistency in there. But like a lot of times when you go look at a menu on a website, for example, it's like it's all over the place. There's no, like, they'll randomly, add a page about the business, and then like their blog posts will be all over the place. Like they don't categorize them, it's just whatever kind of pops into someone's mind. They're like, oh, I went for a walk to, it's like, you'll see, like I've seen this. There's a marketing company that I saw where, they're posting about SEO, and then the next post is the owner, walking in nature, talking about how wonderful, forest bathing is. And I'm like,
forest bathing. That's
that's
a new one.
That, put it on a personal blog, put it on social media, but it doesn't fit well on your website.
No. And then how about no clear call to action? That's almost like a fatal one if you don't have a call to action on your website.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here. What do I do? It's kind of like...
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's like when you walk into a restaurant, it's like, where do I order? Do I seat myself? Like, that's what you're doing to your visitors.
Yeah, I love that. And then, of course, we talked about your website being a revenue generator. You got to have revenue functionality on your website.
Yeah.
Or else, right? If it can't make money, it's not an asset, it's an expense. And I think that's why people are so slow to build their websites. They think of it like a cost.
It's so true.
But it's actually not, right? Because that's going to lead to some rapid fire takeaways.
Yeah, our hotshot tactics of the
week. Your website is your best, or should be your best salesperson.
It should.
You don't have to hire a $100,000 a year and paying commissions to a salesperson. You got your website. That right there should make you think about the cost of your website. Think of it like a cost.
Right. We've had so many people, talk to us about how once we launched our website, all of a sudden it's like, I wouldn't say printing money, but like that's their words, not mine. But
yeah.
We've had clients where they're like, yeah, we launched a new website, and all of a sudden it's like it's attracting people. We're getting orders. We're getting this. We're getting that.
Rah, it's like magic. Yeah. And then of course content fuels everything. You have content on your website. That's a hotshot tactic. And how about you got some good ones? Yeah. We've already talked about some of these. We're summarizing them here.
Well, like Tony Robbins says, right? Yeah. Repetition is the mother of skill. And I've said this like 50 times over our 60 episodes.
60 episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, automation, that's your unfair advantage over your competition. And unfair in a funny way, not in a doing anything wrong way.
Exactly. And then, of course, lead capture is non-negotiable. Why you need to capture leads. And, of course, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it.
True.
So you always want to try things out. Your website's never going to be 100% done. And that's another thing I want to lead to. You don't have to have perfection with your website. You just got to get it built, get it out on the internet. Do an A/B test some certain features out, test some automation out, see what sticks, and then adjust. Right? Just monitor, control, something like that. That's what AIMC is, right? Assess, implement, monitor, control.
Oh.
No one ever knew that, I bet. Assess, implement, monitor, control.
I love it.
Right? That's what you want to do. All right. Do we have a challenge?
We definitely have a challenge. So, Hotshots, if you have to re-listen. Hotshot Nation, if you have to re-listen to this episode, but we want you to pick one feature on your website that is missing, one of the ones we talked about, and add it in. So it can be, maybe it's a lead capture, sign up for MailChimp or Kit, one of those inexpensive ones even. Or maybe you want to be a little aggressive and install e-com on your website. But pick one of those things that we've talked about and add it to your website. And of course, and
then measure, right?
Yeah.
Assess, implement, monitor, control. And, of course, and then we have some call to actions for your Hotshot Nation, like we always talk about.
Yeah.
Share this, like this, comment this, repost this, listen to it in your car. You don't want to listen to Howard Stern. Who wants to listen to him anymore? Listen to Market Like a Hotshot. We have 60 episodes now.
Yeah.
60 of them. So pick the one and listen to it. And then we have 61 coming up, and guess what? Where is that?
We're going to be at Venture Cafe for 61 and 62,
And 62. We're doing two there. Exciting. That's going to be like our studio for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And just one other thing on the website. So we will do a shameless plug. Is that check out marketlikeahotshot.com. You can, reach out to Jeff and I through the website if you need help. JVF.com is there to help you.
JVF.com. And AIMCBizSolutions.com.
Yeah, we're out there to help all of you. So
we got some great partners. We can definitely get it done for you. And then we have some good guests. We'll have to keep it on the lowdown on our guests very soon. But we'll have some 1-minute snippets out on social media of our future guests. And that's about it, man. I think we're good. It's episode 60. Sayonara Freemium State University. You've been great.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been an honor to broadcast out of here, and we're excited to move on to the next chapter.
I'm psyched about it. We have to take the banner with this stuff.
We definitely taking the banner.
And we have one last bang here.
Yeah, hopefully, I know Bill Sell every time we do this. He's usually going for a walk. He mentioned it on, what was it, 50... Was it 55?
55, where it's up to Bill.
And we'll bring Bill back on, too.
So. We will do that. So, Hotshot Nation, we'll see you all soon. Episode 60.